All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time to come join us for a STARS coordinators meeting for May here. Going to run through some of the usual stuff. We'll address the AT&T outage from last week and talk through some of the stuff we're getting from the surveys. Wanted to throw a couple kudos out there. First of all, Miss Angie won a poster presentation for a STARS poster down there at Golisano, talking about reducing door-to-dock times. And sorry, Angie, I'll give you your due deference. Door-to-dock times at Golisano Children's ED down there. Wanted to thank Collinsville was the first dispatch agency to get a page out on April 17th for Calvin Day. So if we might talk about turning that into a thing more next year. And then also thanks to SCAD for having their spring fling with all of the Stars kids out there and for having us all come out and join them. My team has been working really hard. I can take no credit whatsoever. As always, I walk amongst giants. So kudos to my team for getting some newsletters out just to help increase communication, obviously with you guys, but also with the families. Just trying to make sure everybody is kind of coming together with how to use the system to get better outcomes, and providing more resources to the families for traveling, for calling 911 and all those things. So a lot of good work has been done on that. We'll try to use that as an opportunity to share with you guys just another way to share like resources that we're creating, things that we're working on, just another environment to hear it from besides these meetings. So if there's something that would be very helpful to you or you're very interested in, please let me know. We plan on doing the EMS one twice a year. So. I did want to address the AT&T text outage that we had last week. So just to kind of break it down for full disclosure. So what had happened was we noticed on May 2nd, all of a sudden we had users who were not receiving the emergency stars pages. We were able to narrow down pretty quickly and figure out that it was just the AT&T customers. And kudos to my IT team, who sat through enough phone trees. I think they were sitting in a phone forest by the end of it. But what they eventually got down to was um, how the modern day world works. It turns out when you have a website on Amazon, Amazon does not always own the entire pipeline between Amazon and the cell phone services. They've taken on other companies or contracted with other companies in between. And same thing for AT&T on their side. And it turns out there was a company between the two that had changed a spam filter and unfortunately was catching stars dispatches and flagging them as scams or spam. And so we were able to change the way that we send it. They are now going through to AT&T customers, as far as I know. So please let me know if that is not true in your venue. But that should be resolved as of this week. Uh, Really just I highly encourage if you notice something not going right for a dispatch or for a shift that day, if you could please just put in a ticket or a phone call to me and Pam. You can always reach us through the contact us links at the top. But stuff like this is how we find out, right? And so it kind of became evident because the dispatch center was repeatedly sending a dispatch. And so that started to be like the clues that started to put it all together for us. So if it's not working well, please let us know so we can get our system working again. The surveys did go live April 1st, and so we've started to receive both family and EMS surveys back. We're kind of working through what would be the best data to present back to you guys from those. But this is just an example of, we're getting all these in the background and kind of identifying, okay, who's using paper plans, who's using the text feature. Um, is I'm kind of okay. Like if you tell me like, hey, Nick, the only way this is going to work in our agency is printing them out and putting them in a binder, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to continue to tell you all the risks and things that come with that. But I understand. So just but keep a wary eye. Like I'm going to tell those agencies if you notice failures in that, would we need to talk about how can we rectify that? How can we move towards the system that we all know is a little bit better, the gold standard of the most up-to-date information possible being accessed electronically for your providers. Now the numbers. Whoops, I put two maps in today. Added a net gain of 19 new kids since our last STARS meeting. Logins have continued to be good, especially thanks to the dispatch agencies who are getting in most days, if not every day. We continue to see year-over-year increase in the dispatch functionality. And emergency activations has been riding kind of through the norms there. Access reasons. Whoops, I didn't take the February out. This is for both March and April combined. So about 50% of accesses were for care plan reviews, another 20% updates, 15% education, and I continued since we put this feature in, it's been right about 10% for emergency access. So thank you for everybody who's getting in and using it for training or for reviewing for your districts prior to. Had a couple good conversations this week of agencies that just have like a monthly email set up within their district, or either when they get a new kid, they just forward it to everybody, or some who are doing like a generic login and password. They're doing like a monthly email just to remind everybody, like, hey, this is how you get into STARS. This is your logins and links to anything you need from the STARS team for the rest of it. So. For the year-to-date calls, continue to see kind of our standard dispatch reasons. Let's see, direct to tertiary, still riding high, about 90% on those. And then year-to-date, seizures and respiratory distress. And to speak to that, so for the last 2 months, there was actually an incredible number of trach calls, and in 14 of those, trach management was given, either suction or trach changes, adding oxygen blow-by. So pretty substantial in those. I apologize, I should have pulled some notes or blurbs out for you, but I thought it was noteworthy that there were two where EMS did awesome. They documented it. They said we showed up, they were desatting, they were 70 to 80%. We suctioned them, we bounced them back up to mid 90s. And I think that was awesome. It was good trach management. But the other thing I noted on those calls is if you looked at the hospital stay, like those were still kids who like came in and were admitted for like 5 days for pneumonia and got put on all the antibiotics along the way. So certainly appreciative for acute trach care management. But just always, keep in mind like what that kid's longer clinical course often tends to look like. And so those kids definitely tend to spend some time with us up in the PICU and on TCU. There were also 5 cases in the last 2 months of seizures or seizure-like treated with medications, 3 with Versed, 1 with Ativan, and then there was a flight crew administered Keppra. It was a post-arrest situation for some muscular dyskinesia. So that was pretty cool. We are still looking through all the calls. Kudos to Morella, who digs through like all your guys' trip sheets that she can get access to. But just looking through what are the crews doing, just so we can continue to refine. Are we riding it well? Are we getting the outcomes that we want and the treatments that we want for the kiddos when they're sick? And then we were kind of about the same meeting to meeting for the MD approvals. So sitting at about 3.7 days for MD approvals. Wanted to give you guys a heads up on some upcoming website changes. So you kind of gathered from the earlier part, but we really are trying to use the surveys to improve our system, to figure out what's going on with system use. We think that's the way to grow and evolve and become a better system. And to that end, we are going to start to try and spread the survey links in more places. A few of you got emails from me in the, earlier this week, was like, hey, you had a crew who ran a call. Can you please go send them the survey link? I'm trying to take as much of that ball out of your court as possible. Like I am trying to put it everywhere throughout our system so that your crew members can access the surveys in the easiest way possible. So knowing EMS like I do, I'm sure every now and then I'm still going to have to email STARS coordinator and ask you guys to follow up with your people, but we really are trying to put it everywhere so that we can capture that information from your crews and from the family members. To that end, there's an update going in at the end of the month here where it will be placed up at the top navigation bar within STARS. It will also get added to each plan. There will be a button that your crew members can just click and fill out the EMS survey. And then also, if anybody prints out a paper copy of the plans, there will be a survey section at the bottom where everybody can access it so that we can just try to capture that data. It's basics of, using the plan and what happened, how did the call go. But there's also some options on there for your crew members. If I can offer a carrot, like if they want follow-up from the call, they can just check that right there and say, hey, how do I want somebody to contact me about this call so I can get, downstream what happened. So just trying to put all those linkages in so that we can all just keep getting better at this. Any questions about the surveys or any feedback? Have you guys had crew members who said good things, that was awesome? Have they said, oh no, I've got to scan another QR code in my life? Like I haven't really heard much about it. So I was just curious if anybody had anything.
We had you had sent something to Kim for 2 calls we had on STARS patients, but I don't know if I don't know that the surveys went to the crew. Did you just send them to Kim, or does it automatically go to the crew on the call?
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. No, I just sent them to Kim as kind of like the STARS coordinator, like just saying like, hey, here's the date and the crew and the star number.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
it
fine.
would,
Will you
sorry,
please?
probably,
That's okay. Just make sure you copy me and Danielle because Kim's not always here, and
okay.
so yeah.
Okay. I was trying not to send you yet one more email, Stephanie.
That's
So,
okay. No
okay.
worries. It's okay. It's just they're on Danielle and Kim and Sarah are all on shift. And so they don't have like a constant stream of emails up. They see it maybe once at the beginning of their shift and then not again until they're back on. So like 6 or 8 days later.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Sorry. I'll just go ahead and
that's
CC
okay.
you and everything.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. Cool. All right. Well, I'm always up for feedback on these two. Like, we tried to keep it simple. We really did like spend a lot of time trying to be like keep it the shortest number of questions possible that were still helpful to us. So, but I'm always open to feedback on that from you or your crew members. Switching gears slightly towards education, Steve Moffat's on here. He's been doing an awesome job of working on the LMS and getting courses loaded in there, getting it cleaned up so that it's not just a jumble of courses, but they're actually like sorted in the catalog. So one that is in there is we did with Dr. Finney and Doc Laffey, courtesy of the MSC being hosted at SCAD. I think I got all of the acronyms into one sentence. We were able to go and record a video. So whether it exists in Prodigy, so if your agency is already using that and you're taking it there, but we put it up on the STARS LMS too. It's free. It's for EMS CEs, or I'm sorry, Missouri CEs. So if you guys would need a free course to review the latest changes to the TPOP Post form, that is up there. It's 30 minutes. So highly encourage you guys to go watch that and understand the new form that is available and that will start to write for the kiddos that are in STARS. I tell you what, I'm gonna take this real quick. A hospital's calling me 3 times in a row. Steve, do you mind taking a minute and just talking through the LMS real quick?
Yeah, sure. So hey everyone, Steve Moffat. I'm the STARS education support. So the LMS, as Nick had said, we've done some changes to it. Actually, I'm going to see if I can actually share my screen so you get an idea of what he was talking about. You're going to see when you log into our Stars LMS now that it has a completely different layout. This is from the learner's point of view. So this is what your folks will log in and see. And then down here, if you want to get to the Stars education, all you do is come down, click on Stars, and everything that is Stars related will be here. As you mentioned, the Missouri Teapot Pulsed is here, as well as all of the content that we have had up on here. There are some beta courses as well. The other thing that for you and your agencies may be beneficial is we have rolled out some how-to courses. We're calling this Stars University right now. We have some for the hospital, pre-hospital, and communications standpoint that if you come in here, it's basically a how-to for your Stars medical directors. That one would have to be assigned, as well as how to be an admin has to be assigned by the LMS coordinator at your agency. Everything else that you can come in and just sign up to take. It covers everything from an intro to Stars, how to navigate in the resources section of the website, how to dispatch. So for your pre-hospital agencies and for your communications agencies, it shows you how you can dispatch through the site. And this just goes over the how-to, because I submitted or sent out a survey a couple weeks back asking for feedback. One of the main things that I received back on that survey, by the way, if you took that survey, I really appreciate it, because I got an incredible amount of feedback from people. Like, I got almost 40 agencies that responded, which was well above anything I had even hoped to get. So thank you for doing that. One of the things was, hey, how do we do things? So I put up a how-to using some videos that Nick had already made a while back. We just kind of refreshed them, put them up so they're on there. So if you find that valuable, please use those. If you have questions about how to access the ones that need to be assigned, please let me know. Just reach out to me directly and I can walk you through that and get you access in that. And I think that's all we've got from an education standpoint.
Awesome. Thank you for stepping in, Steve, and sandbagging for me. I appreciate that.
Hey, Nick, I just checked Prodigy and it's not up on the EMSC yet. I did send it to him, but they also have quite a delay. So I asked him to just make me a training officer in the EMSC portal. So if they don't get it up in the next couple weeks, I'll figure out how to get it up there.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right. That was everything that I had prepared for today. Did anybody else have anything, just open session we needed to talk about with Stars?
One of our MIH paramedics submitted a request to read every single pediatric DNR in the entire system. And I said no. But is there a way to search by device or by by upload? So if I don't know if that's something they could build in the future, but so if I wanted to do a search in my district for all the trach patients, could I type trach in the search bar? Not yet, but maybe that's something we could build into the system so that if we wanted to search for DNRs, we could see how many kids we currently have enrolled that have either DNR or TPOP or pulsed or something.
That is an idea. It's a good idea. I'm trying to think through the
Logistics.
some of the ramifications on the PHI side.
I wonder if it could just be sort of a checkbox on the building side that then would cause a flag.
Something else that our IT had thought of a long time ago was more on the power dependency, and that didn't
Right.
seem as important, was like something on the outside of the badge that told you power dependent or something. But like there probably could be room for, like, if we have a DNR attached, like it makes a notation on the outside of the kid's badge number whenever you go to click on them, and maybe same thing with the trach. So maybe it is time to start adding some extra logos or tips or tricks to let your staff know.
Yeah, after I said no, I went on to think about sort of the ramifications, and that was immediately what I thought about was the disaster planning map that you had, the already built with power dependency. And I was thinking, even if it's just like a couple of the more life-saving or life-altering medical devices, trachs. I know there's one little kid with an LVAD now, just something that demarks that level on the outside that would help sort of filter them within the system.
That's a good idea. Let me write it down before I forget it. It's my squirrel brain.
So you have a disaster planning map for like power outages?
Yeah, so we can run it down to a zip code level. I mean, or a county level above that if you want, but and kind of stratify the kids by level of power dependency. Um, so whether that's something that we have to run on the back end through the Power BI, I would love to give you all access to it just as soon as I can figure out how to buy $40,000 licenses for everybody on here. But until then, it's something we can always run on request ad hoc. And then we've been trying to figure out a way where we can maybe share regular PDF reports out of that system to our EMS partners.
What if we
Um,
already have a Power BI license? Is there an implication there that we could maybe be partners in the system?
Starts new email. Yeah, I'm up for asking.
Okay. We're up for building. I got a data nerd who's pretty powerful with the Power BI systems.
Cool.
So
Nicole, are you interested in a copy of the map for your counties?
Yes, I would be. Just with as many storms as Illinois gets hit with on occasion, it'd be nice to know we need to focus on making sure these kids are at least taken care of if something does happen.
Cool. All right, I will get you a copy of that, and we can run a list of your kids too, and their level of power dependency. So,
That would be much appreciated. I've been slowly like going in and being like, okay, well, this one has a vent, so probably need to make sure that they're good, and but that will save me some time.
okay, cool. Yep, we will get that on over. Some. Did anybody else on the call have anything for me?
can you send us the list? We have a pretty good idea of who's power dependent, but it would be nice to have a cross-reference from the grown-ups.
Yep.
No, I'm jealous. I want a list.
We just
We'll get
made
you a
so
list.
much work for you, Nick.
That's all right. I mean, I am CC and Morella on all of this, so you don't got to apologize to me.
I
You can
know.
just
Poor Marilla,
Why they get a list
I
and
have
I don't get
emailed
a
her
list?
before. Saying, can you
Yes,
pull
just
that?
email me, guys. Whenever you need any data or anything, you're more than welcome to email me and ask for it.
we could just take Alex's note taker and
We
send
just
the
like to
notes
bother
to
Nick, make him earn his keep.
Yep. Please do.
Keep Nick a little bit more busy.
Yeah. It's good for me. Keeps me sharp.
He's always talking about how he has nothing to do.
He told me today he's going back to school for his MBA.
I heard a doctorate
job.
somewhere.
I mean,
I might be spreading rumors, but he
Yeah.
did say
Well, I was hoping to just do
Probably
this long enough and well enough that somebody gives me one of the honorary titles. But
hey, Nick, I did notice, not necessarily for this meeting, but, and this is not a call out by any stretch, but, a plan came that was updated, the EMS was updated. And it said the primary EMS is now Salem, District Hospital and Salem EMS. Aren't they defunct?
Salem, Missouri or Salem, Illinois?
It would be Missouri.
Okay. Yeah, I had not
Because
heard
their
the
preferred facility was Phelps.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, let me check that plan. But I did not
Okay.
realize,
I just-
did
I didn't-
SMDH go under?
They closed at some point. I can't tell you exactly when, but
Okay. Yeah, I thought I had talked to somebody from there about 2 months ago, but I'll double check. That one was a little mixed up. So the family 911 provider would still be Salem, if assuming Salem did not go under, but the family has a strong preference to want to go to Phelps if that's our kiddo, unless you're talking about one of yours.
well, okay. So that is knowledge that was passed on to me, but I can't
Okay.
verify the accuracy of that. So I may have just spread false information.
No, you're fine. It's
And
just a
you should
phone
probably
call for
ban
me. No, you're fine. All right. It's a good meeting. I got 3 emails and a phone call follow-up. We're doing great. No, it's all right. I'll give him a call. I appreciate a heads up on that because that stuff does happen and I don't always know that or hear that. So awesome. And Miss Rachel, I see you need a map as well. So we'll get that over to you. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you guys past your time. I'll hang on for a couple minutes if anybody else comes up with something else that they need. But other than that, I hope you all have a great afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I have a star
See you guys.
specific question.